Nobody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 49th Street at the bench.
Welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys, what are we doing on my to-do list? Let's see. Breaking letters. I'm going to be showing you guys, I'm going to be teaching you guys all about breaking letters in graffiti. And that's not a good thing. You don't want to do that. You don't want to break letters. So let's just get it out the way real quick. Graffiti is a font-based art form. As a result, you need to be doing letters in order to be able to do graffiti because, well, guess what? We have tag names, and tag names use letters. So it's only natural that we don't want to break those letters. So what is breaking a letter? Breaking a letter is essentially when you destroy a structure or you compromise its functionality because of adding, subtracting, or distorting the structure of said letter. Now there's more than one way to break a letter. There is a ton of ways to break a letter. And these go into every single one of the fundamentals of graffiti, which if this is the first video you're watching in the series, this is actually part of a tutorial series where I teach you guys all of those fundamentals. So be sure to go ahead and watch the tutorial series. I'll have it linked everywhere I possibly can. Now, one of the most common ways newer graffiti artists break letters is they try to stylize the letter too much, and as a result, they do all of this crazy stuff to their letter that results in the letter no longer being the intended letter. Take a shot for every time I say letter. You will be gone by the end of this video, I guarantee it. Another common thing they do is they position letters way too close. See, what happens here is you have one letter that heavily overlaps another and you can't see the other letter. Either that or the letter that's on top is covering a really important part of the letter that's on the bottom. Every single letter has a specific part of it that you really cannot cover, or you can't cover too much of. Otherwise, you risk breaking the letter. So you have to be very conscious of how you overlap your letters. Another way of breaking letters that's common for new graffiti artists is the letter's positioning. You see, sometimes graffiti artists will take a letter and they'll shift its position, and that's perfectly fine. You can totally do this in graffiti, but depending on how you do it, you can destroy the letter. You guys know me, I like to show you guys very exaggerated examples just to show you the extreme because it really paints the picture very well. If we take this N and we rotate it, we have a U. If we take this V and we rotate it too much, we have an L. And you'd be surprised how often this specific example happens. This specific example happens all the time. I see it all the time. But obviously it happens in less exaggerated degrees where you'll go ahead and say have, let's just use for an example, an R, and it's tilted a little bit too much. And when you combine that with the newer graffiti artists trying to add too much style, they have all these extensions, they have all this crazy stuff going on, and suddenly the leg of the R looks like a whole letter of its own because of how much they tilted it. So that's really what breaking the letter is all about. Once again, there's a bunch of different ways to break letters, too many to cover in this video, honestly, but they all essentially do the same thing. You gotta keep an eye out. You always have to ask yourself, does this letter look like the intended letter? That's the most important thing. If the answer is no, you gotta redo the letter. And obviously, once you get to more like wild style stuff for you more advanced graffiti artists that are watching this video, clearly I'm not talking to you guys. When you're a legit more advanced graffiti artist, you can really get away with doing a lot of crazy stuff and you can make it work because the structure is still there. And other people that are at your same skill level or higher, or maybe even a little bit less but they're able to comprehend higher skill level graffiti, they'll be able to discern what's extensions, what's letter distortions, what's letter structure, and they'll be able to see all that. But the structure is still there. So if you guys see a wild style and the structures literally are not there, then it's actually done incorrectly. Because once again, you have to remember, graffiti is a font-based art form. You need the letters to be there. It's kind of like having a portrait with no face. If there's no face, there's no portrait. It's like having a landscape with no land. If there's no land, there's no landscape. If you have graffiti without letters, it's not graffiti. Alright guys, that brings us down to today's video. Hopefully that kind of informed you about what breaking letters is and how it works. So just remember to ask yourself the question, does this letter look like the letter it's supposed to be? And as long as you do that, you should be pretty fine. As always guys, you know the deal. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I'm extremely active in my comment section. And for those of you guys who maybe don't know, I'm doing a tutorial series, a mega crazy, large, in-depth tutorial series about everything you need to know about graffiti. So if you're trying to get good at graffiti, if graffiti has been frustrating you, be sure to watch this series because it'll be the best informational videos you'll find anywhere on graffiti with the most credible information. Now there's no PDF file for this tutorial, but keep an eye out because some of my other tutorials have a full tutorial PDF file that you can download. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time, but until then, peace.